on here. Oh, I see what's going on here.
You sitting sideways? Is that what you're saying?
So sorry to interrupt. I'm looking.
It looks like you're looking in the corner for me right now, Jake, and it looks like you're looking for it to stay live on Facebook.
Wait, am I looking at the right spot? Because now I'm looking at my camera thing.
I'm typing in the title and the date, bro.
Does it look like I'm looking at the right thing? Yeah, whatever.
Dude, I hate Felipe today. Like, I was losing it.
Look, we're live on Facebook.
Well, it's good. He'll find out now because you Marks and welcome to Pod Jobbers, baby. Today's episode 13, June 25th, 2020. I am renaming myself to Jake the Drake Coffee Cake. And alongside me, we got King Ducey and a CL Kid. What up, dudes?
What up? I still like Jake the Jake Schwartz. I thought that was a lot better.
Jake the Jake Schwartz. Jake the Mistake Schwartz.
That's the one.
Schwartz. That's the one. Mistakey. Jakey made a big mistakey. Name that movie.
Just go.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to jump right into things here on Burn It Down. And hopefully we'll get a good SoundCloud thing going. All right. So first topic right off the mark is we do our best, greatest wrestler of all time bracket in wrestling life. On the Heartbreak Kid Michaels or Chris Y2J Jericho. Who is better? CLK will.
I will jump in since Doozy looks like he's still pondering some anger.
Oh, yeah.
I love Jericho. Right. So Jericho, I think the Jericho moment when he comes out, you know, you finally get the Titantron and get the little ball and it goes down and you find out it says Jericho on the screen and it's just this amazing cool moment in WWE coming over from WCW. That even though I kind of already knew it was going to be Jericho, it still blew my mind. It was still amazing and I still love it, right? You know, The Rock coming out and saying, "What is your name? I told you once. I told you it doesn't matter." You know, and burning him anyway. And I learned to love Jericho so much from so many different aspects. The list, obviously, we do the list here on the show later on. The list of Jericho was something that definitely took off for me. He's so revolutionary. He's always changing, always doing new things, and not afraid to try new angles. I love that. He's reinvented himself 1,000 times. Not even in AEW. He could stand to lose a little weight, but he's still great. Once again, you know, great in-ring performer. If you haven't done the walls of Jericho to some little kid or something like that in your lifetime, I don't know what the hell you've been doing. I used to do this to kids that were literally crying, and I would still do it anyway. You know, and then I just fall on the floor and act like they hurt me too. We both got hurt. But
it's okay. Don't tell me. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, he got me too a little bit. Yeah. You know, but so it's, you know, my whole life of wrestling fandom has revolved around Jericho and so many things. I use all his stuff. That being said, I think it's so obvious that Shawn Michaels has to rank above Jericho. Like we got this Wrestling Life group and we talk about it in there, but it's just before this bracket, you know, I posted the bracket actually originally. I was the one who posted it in the damn group. Before that bracket was put out. Huh?
Congratulations.
Yes, I had to take some credit.
Finally done something for the group.
I know. Hey, I have to put that Triple H thing in there. Anyway, point is like before that bracket got put there, I feel like it was just worldwide known that HBK is above Jericho. Like this is, if you ask anybody, HBK, name the top 3 wrestlers of all time. Shawn Michaels. Okay. Like he's already listed. If you're not saying them first, you say Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, and then you stop, right? So it's just like, and I'm not saying me, I'm just saying that's what I tend to hear when I ask that question. And it's just all of a sudden, Jericho is outdoing Shawn Michaels in this poll. And I feel like I don't care about the age differences. It's just Shawn Michaels is Jordan class. Shawn Michaels is Tom Brady class. Shawn Michaels is the top tier. Nobody can keep him out of the top 3, no matter who the hell you are, of all time in actual skill and ability, not how he touches your heart and how you live with him. So it's just for him to come out of left field and even have a chance like Jericho makes no sense to me. Music is amazing. Wrestling is amazing. Character is amazing. well, where do you say, if those are the three dimensions of wrestling, where do you say that Jericho ranks above him, Doozy?
First of all, Jericho doesn't rank above Shawn Michaels in any category. Well, mainly what we have here in the group is a problem of people only watching wrestling from the year 2000 on. There's a lot of 20-somethings that grew up not being spanked or anything like that, and so they feel privileged to be like, hey, Jericho, he's the best. No.
Those were the kids that got the walls of Jericho done to them. So that's all they know.
That's right. They're the ones that, probably got the wishbone to them a couple of times more often than not. The problem is that people, they don't want to look at the past. We look back and we think of greatest wrestler of all time. We're not thinking about, what the other people have done for the wrestling business, like Lou Thez or Buddy Rogers, all these guys that have actually done something for the business to keep it running. We think about all those promotions that died in the 80s simply because, people just didn't care. Then comes this tag team, the Rockers. We got Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels. Shut the fuck up, Jake. So we get these guys. These guys are awesome. They're off the ropes. They're high flying. They're doing all this striking. They're doing these super kicks in tandem, mind you, and it's awesome. Then we get the heel turn. Shawn Michaels puts Jannetty through a window. He's on his own. We get Shawn Michaels by himself. He's got Diesel now, so he's got a bodyguard. Got Pamela Anderson. Awesome. Okay, so not only has this guy went from tag team to solo action, being in the first ever WWF ladder match against Razor Ramon, loses it, but we all got to see his butt, and I know, Jake, you like that. But then from there, wins Royal Rumble. Twice, back-to-back. Okay? First time he was technically number one. Wins world title. Boyhood dream completed. He finally did it. That's our kayfabe. We didn't have social media to have Jericho rein in on every single aspect of his life. Cruise this, doing something this. I have podcasts. I have mugs. I have a bat now. I'm Negan. Like, come on, dude. Nobody's buying it. I don't care. Nobody cares about your black, stupid mask that you have over in Japan. I don't care. I'm seeing what Shawn Michaels has done for WWF, WWE, gone on, DX, just fought everybody. Ended Ric Flair's career. Ric Flair wouldn't have anybody else do it. It's Shawn fucking Michaels. I don't care. Like, his resume is I'm done.
And not to cut you off, but you know how you were mentioning like Lou Thez and all these older names that paved the way, and they, comparison-wise, is like, if you, again, not to just dive into the basketball comparison, but you look at people like Bill Russell and Pistol Pete Maravich and Bob Cousy and all these old school names, like, whenever you say, oh, Jordan or LeBron, you're dismissing the old times. But Shawn Michaels comes from an era of the best. Like, the Attitude Era is the top era, period. So it's like, it's not as if we're comparing him to like a bunch of nobodies that were old scrubs where they're dribbling the ball like this, like I say. But you're comparing him to amongst the best. He was still the best.
But I mean, at the time when Shawn Michaels had left during that Attitude Era, it was Stone Cold who was reigning. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. Stone Cold was reigning during that era because, he beat Shawn Michaels at, WrestleMania 14. 15?
14.
Okay. 14, that's what I thought. So 2 years after the Boyhood Dream, wrestled Shawn Michaels, or wrestled Stone Cold, and Stone Cold's the hottest thing on the planet. But that's because his promos are it's just him drinking beer. That's all it is. Him drinking beer, flipping off the boss. I'm the American man. This is what I want to do to my boss. Like, yeah. Nobody cares about
What does this have to do with HBK?
Because he was injured and he had to put on a show, even though he was injured at the time.
When can I talk about Jericho?
Go, Jay.
Hold on. Before we get to Jericho, just let it be known that during that entire match, Shawn Michaels had a certifiably career-ending injury. It didn't just happen in that match. He was wrestling while having that injury. Yes, it got aggravated more during the match. He still went on, put on a freaking 5-star show, and sold every single move that Stone Cold did to him. When he got that final stunner, spit flew up in the air, amazing. Granted, he had those stupid little dreadlocks in his hair, and I mean, that's the only bad thing I can say about Shawn Michaels. But go ahead, Jake.
7 WWE World titles for Jericho, 4 for Shawn Michaels. The most Intercontinental titles ever with 9. 6 tag team championships with WWE. 7. Shawn Michaels had 6. Chris Jericho has reinvented himself multiple times into different characters, face or heel, across multiple organizations. He's beat Stone Cold and The Rock the same night to unify the titles, which are arguably 2 of the top 5, if not the 2 most impactful wrestlers of all time on the business. He has been the tops of every organization that he has wrestled for.
Except WWE, WCW.
Okay, WCW, but he wasn't allowed to be because of Kevin Nash. But he wasn't
the top of WWE.
He's absolutely at one point was. Yeah, for sure. HBK.
He wasn't the guy.
Okay, but he's been the guy internationally. New Japan Pro Wrestling, now AEW is their first champion. I mean, he's the difference in my opinion is this. HBK is a better wrestler. HBK is probably a better in-ring performer than Chris Jericho. There's no doubt in my mind that that's true. However, Chris Jericho has a more diverse moveset. He has a more impact globally on the wrestling business. He invented matches, Money in the Bank ladder match. He's the more decorated wrestler from a title perspective. So I think when everything's done and his career is over, he will go down as one of the greatest, if not the most impactful wrestler of all time on the industry. If it wasn't for him, AEW wouldn't be where it is today. And I think that's a huge payment towards Chris Jericho and his ability. HBK is amazing. There's no denying that. And it took me about 15 minutes to make a decision on who's better. But I land on Chris Jericho because, in my opinion, he has more encompassing competencies than HBK does. HBK is huge, and he's the best seller probably to ever exist in the industry. But he doesn't hit all the notches. And I think Stone Cold taking the torch and running with it way more than HBK did shows why HBK is a better wrestler.
A couple of things there, right? So just quick answer, no description. Who you taking? Who's better, The Rock or Y2J? This is to Jake specifically.
Of all time?
Yes.
As far as like
all time, no, all categories, man.
All categories, The Rock or Jericho. Picture, like who you picking?
My question is The Rock.
Okay.
Why? Then you're saying The Rock is better than Shawn Michaels.
Hold on. So I just want to discredit some of your points because all those numbers you started with are better than what The Rock has on those same numbers. So title pushes and things like that at those times weren't the same way that they are handled now, where it's like, oh, I got 13 title reigns by Charlotte. Like back then, it was a completely different game. Holding the title wasn't everything, right? So also longevity of holding the title, not losing it in a month, right? So that's irrelevant. The numbers are irrelevant in this and this time only. Secondly, Jericho was never the it guy in WWE. He was great, and I loved him, but he was never the guy in WWE like the way Austin was, the way Shawn Michaels was, right? Ever. There was never a point where you said, Jericho's the guy? Everybody in agreement? Like, that never happened.
Was Shawn Michaels really the it guy for a long period of time?
In the 90s, right before the Austin thing? Yeah, he definitely was.
Like, how long, though? Because, like, barely before that, it was Bret Hart. Barely.
Okay, and yeah, I'll give you that. It was Bret Hart until he started fading off with the whole WCW thing and all that. But either way, so couple that with, if you're never the it guy in that industry, it's hard for me to put you all the way on top, right? So you can name all these, athletes in any sport they were great for, this team, they had good stats, but if they're not the guy, ever the guy, then they can't be in the upper tier echelon of art.
So being the for 10 months classifies you in that tier. The reason why I say The Rock is because he was the it guy for a very long period of time, and his impact on the entire wrestling industry probably is that of all 3 of them because of what he's done outside of wrestling as well. But from being the greatest wrestler of all time, no, he's not a better greatest wrestler of all time than Chris Jericho.
But Yao Ming has a bigger international impact than Michael Jordan might have. Or
well, you can't separate each thing on its own.
Okay, but that's my point. That's my point. The point that you're giving points to Jericho in this argument in a segment that would never matter to Shawn Michaels, because I don't care what you did in college, I don't care what you did in high school, I don't care what you did in the Indies. All that matters is what you did in the NBA. All that matters is what you did in the NFL. We don't care about anything else. So yes, Jericho has a huge, wide impact in other, Japan and Europe and everywhere. But he never outclassed. There was never a moment where you said Jericho hit a level that Shawn Michaels has not hit. And Shawn Michaels, his peak is higher than Jericho's peak. And he had longevity. He had the injury, but he still had longevity before that. And he came back, and he had the DX times, and then he had the Undertaker match, and he had the Ric Flair match, coupled with, just like Randy Orton, one of those smooth-ass in-ring guys that doesn't have to have 1,000 moves. Every move is on point. Coupled with that, and just his ability to teach people, and every single person, even Ric Flair, bows down to him. No one speaks about Jericho like that. And I love Jericho. But
it's the Jordan surgical effect. That's why. And again, I'm not saying HBK is bad or that he's not even in the top 5.
You are.
I'm not though. I'm saying Jericho has done more, and therefore, like I told you, I spent a long time thinking about it, and my gut said HBK right away because just like you, psychologically, I was like, wow, I mean, greatest in-ring performer for sure. And then the more I thought about it and did research, I said to myself, now I start to see the Hank Aaron, Pete Rose argument in baseball, the Willie Mays argument in baseball, anyone else, Bill Russell, whoever else in basketball or these other athletes that don't have the stardom that Jordan had or the impact. And you start to make a case or think in your head, maybe there's an argument to be made for these individuals that don't always get just the popular, famous opinion.
I give you that, but at the same time, you can flip that argument into a weakness. Manu Ginobili did more for international basketball than Jordan ever did. Tim Duncan did more in actual day-to-day actual basketball by being an international player than Jordan ever did. Jordan didn't play overseas doing
maybe.
That kind of
I don't know. I think Jordan also had an impact from the movie industry doing baseball, getting 6 championships.
Culturally, but none of that has anything to do with actual wrestling. You break down the wrestling, it's what? Wrestling ability, promo cutting, character. That's pretty much it. Selling.
And you talk about this
innovation
of character.
3 out of 4 of those, you're going to tell me HBK is better at promos than Jericho? HBK is better at promos than Jericho.
No, I'm just saying that. Why does he need to reinvent himself? Why do you keep saying this? Jericho had to reinvent himself. Yeah, because his character got fucking stale.
No. It's a creativity thing. It has nothing to do with his character.
No, see, that's where you're wrong, man.
It's his decision to want to do that, and I think that speaks volumes of him.
Because nobody gives a shit.
He could have done character for the rest of his life, and that would have been the biggest thing. That'd been the hottest thing.
I'll give that to Jake. Where him reinventing was by choice, because I would have still loved Jericho as old Jericho with the ponytail all throughout his career. But at the same time, you got to realize, we say Austin took the reins from him and that he was a bigger pop than Shawn Michaels was. But Austin had a character dynamic that fit with the regular mold of people. He had the me versus the boss kind of thing. You want to stick it to your boss, you can watch Austin do it every night. Like, he's doing the thing I can't do. So it's a lot different.
I don't understand. What are you trying to say, though?
What I'm trying to say is that the weight of somebody saying that, well, Shawn Michaels was never what Austin was. Like what you're saying, like Austin did this. Like, can we agree that Austin was here and Shawn Michaels did this in terms of leading the company?
True, though.
Yeah. Okay, no, I agree with you. Yes, Austin had a pop that Shawn Michaels didn't have. Fair.
Yeah.
Jericho never had the pop that Shawn Michaels had. Never.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, how many people really give a shit about AEW? And look at his time as champion.
At least 1 million per week.
Okay, so
and from a TV perspective.
Okay, but
it just started last year. You can't compare it.
Who comes over from WWE and he drops it to that guy? Because the only way that championship was going to survive is if they put it on Jericho to begin with. That's the only way. I think we all know that. If
Jericho is in his prime, whatever version of Jericho you think is his prime, that's fair. If Jericho's in his prime, Shawn Michaels in his prime, and they're both injured, they're both out, WWE, and they're both hurt, and you don't see them. Royal Rumble hits. Number 1 comes out Chris Jericho. Number 2 comes out Shawn Michaels. 1, Jericho's coming out first because he's the lesser star. And 2, that pop on Shawn Michaels is going to blow the freaking roof off in a way that Jericho never could. Jericho came out first, and he made a huge deal. CM Punk's music came out next, and it was over. That's it. CM Punk comes out in that matchup, and everyone cared about CM Punk. Because Jericho, as amazing he is, he's a cog in the system that is amazing and doesn't get the credit he deserves, but he can never be the
Change
guy.
Your vote, Jake. You know it to be true. Search your feelings,
John
Jake.
Cena or Eddie Guerrero?
All right, let's go. We're on to the next
Juicy,
segment.
start us off.
Oh, this is going to be easy. Okay, this is so easy.
Yeah,
We're
it
not
is.
getting
We're
through
looking
all
at
of our
all these
topics tonight.
categories
We're
and
gonna
all
get
this
through
other
Burn It
fun
Down
stuff.
and that.
John Cena, he's a bodybuilder. First and foremost, he's not a professional fucking wrestler. I'll state that for the rest of my life. Eddie Guerrero, he's got all the talent in the world. Comes from a wrestling family. Did it in Mexico. Did it in the U.S. Did it in Japan. Did it everywhere. Where did John Cena go? One place. That's it. And so he does not have, sure, he's got the longevity because, you know, he's been injured, comes back to a pop. He's always been the man since Ruthless Aggression started. Always been that guy. So everybody looked up to him because he was America's hero in WWE. That's what he was. That's what he was paid out to be. He's the hero. He never couldn't turn heel. There's no way John Cena could turn heel. No way. Even in a segment of where he's an NWO person and some fucked up Firefly, whatever it is, bullshit, you know, and we all ate it up like it was fucking cake. Eddie Guerrero had so much passion, such a lively character from a culture that not all of us understand, but he brought it to life on stage, and it was amazing. Every match he had, you know, the ladder matches with Rey Mysterio, every other match he's ever done, awesome. John Cena, nothing. I mean, he don't get me wrong. John Cena's done some good stuff. And Eddie Guerrero, bless his heart, you know, wish we had him around longer than what we did because we deserve that type of character. And John Cena is the guy that just had to be there. You know, he had to, like, all right, WWE, I have to be here for you. And so he comes around, does his thing. And every time we thought he was going to retire, kept like, no, I'm not retired. I'm still here. Like, dude, we don't care. Blame it on the fans, he says. Bullshit. You're just not that. Your character's stale. You've changed yourself once, and you should have stuck to the rap and shit because that was fun. But Eddie Guerrero, dude, coming up in a car.
Shouldn't have. He wouldn't have gotten the draw that he did if he stayed with that character.
Right. But still, Eddie Guerrero, he didn't really have to change who he was. You know, he'd lie, cheat, and steal because that's who he was. He's Eddie Guerrero. And he came over with a group of guys that, you know, from WCW, and he just lit up everything. Everybody was happy, you know, and he had great promos with what he did and all the stuff with, you know, Rey Mysterio, Dominique's my son, and all this other stuff. Fantastic. And you look back to even some of his matches where you actually hear what he's saying, and it's like, man, this guy's he's like picking up the slack for the other guy who's not really doing all that good. But John Cena just went out there, I'll throw this guy, okay, over my shoulder, it's over. No moveset, no livelihood inside the ring. It's just, there's no flair. There was nothing. It's like, oh, hey, check this out. Give a shit.
I think what you're missing, though, is this. Okay, so.
Here comes the hypocrite.
Here we go.
Oh, no. There's no hypocrite.
Yeah, I'm waiting for all your points to backtrack on what you were saying about HBK. So go for it.
Okay, I saw that coming. Now look, Yankee shirt, right? Bernie Williams, more home runs than Derek Jeter, tons of playoff home runs, just as clutch, almost the same batting average, good fielder, all that stuff. All we talk about is Derek Jeter when we talk about the Yankees of that era, right? Because not all categories are created equally. And what I was talking about with Jericho versus HBK is that HBK's ceiling was much higher than the ceiling of anybody else in terms of comparison to Y2J directly, for sure. But he's known as being, you know, a Jordan-esque type guy. He's like up there automatically. Everybody understands that. When it comes to Eddie Guerrero, better wrestler than John Cena.
Yep.
Dove into his character more than John Cena.
Yep.
Amazing in-ring selling, willing to do all kinds of stuff, pair with China, whatever, right? Great in multiple brands, whatever, right? Old school background, that's great. But the one area where, just like Austin wasn't a better wrestler than Eddie Guerrero. Austin wasn't really even technically a better promo guy than Eddie Guerrero. Like, his promos were very simplistic and just whatever. He had a cool-ass finisher. The finisher, the theme song, and the attitude of Austin is what made Austin, period. Obviously, now you get the whole dynamic setting with Vince McMahon and all that. But that's what made Austin Austin. That attitude, period. That was it. He didn't have this cool entrance with fireworks. He just walked down the ramp, and that was it. But everyone wanted to be Austin, and it was time. When Austin came on, he's the man. just those three things can never, if I say who's a better wrestler, Austin or Guerrero, everyone's going to pick Austin, not in terms of in-ring ability, but just overall as a star. But it's because not all the categories are created equal. John Cena, he may not be the better wrestler. And yes, he has a boring-ass moveset that I complained about the entire time. I was okay with the rapping John Cena, but when he switched over to just genuine John Cena being himself, that was a much better character, a much better sell in terms of promo work. But John Cena's highs in terms of his against The Rock, against CM Punk, against Roman Reigns, and like his promo ability in the back end of his career and how much energy he brought, that outweighs. And it's still also having good matches too, as simple as his moves was, just in terms of working with the other opponent. That outweighs anything that Eddie Guerrero brought to the table. Like the peak of Cena, when he came out and his music hit, I sat and I listened and I wanted to hear what he was going to say, and I was intrigued by it. Whereas with Eddie Guerrero, I'm not saying he has no good promos, because we saw one earlier in the group, but he never had that dynamic. He never had that Austin awe. He never had that Cena awe. So for me, I always put Cena above, not because of the body work and how he carried a crappy WWE that had nobody on the card and kept ratings up and sold merch or any of that, but just the fact that when it was time to make a serious match, a big deal match, John Cena was the clear guy in that match, and it was the energy behind him was so high, like an Austin. And I don't think Eddie Guerrero really meets that.
I don't know how you could possibly discuss Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams in the same ballpark when you're talking a 14-time All-Star to a 5-time All-Star and the number of hits, average runs, steals. I mean, he people forget Derek Jeter had like 350 steals or whatever it was.
Well,
also, his ability to field.
I probably watch more Derek Jeter games than anybody on this podcast, so I get it. But you got to keep in mind, the flash stats are the stats.
No, there's one stat. It's home runs. That's the one flash stat, and that's close.
Okay, but what you got to keep in mind is it's not, who has the better fielding ability, Derek Jeter or Bernie Williams? It's Bernie Williams versus Ken Griffey Jr. versus Barry Bonds, or Derek Jeter versus a not so there yet A-Rod against Alex Gonzalez. You know what I mean? Like, and I love Derek Jeter. He's my favorite player of all time. I don't think
Bernie Williams is nearly as clutch. I disagree with that statement.
Look at the playoff home run list.
Yeah, he's had a lot. He's had a lot of home runs. But as being MVP of the game in the postseason?
That's fine. But my point is, if I just put the numbers side by side, like, yes, Bernie Williams is not Derek Jeter, but there's a lot of big category stats that they line up very close. And that is my point when it comes to looking at Eddie Guerrero and looking at John Cena. Sure, Eddie Guerrero is a better wrestler. This is wrestling, so it should be over. He's the better wrestler automatically, but clearly it's not, because John Cena outweighs him in those flash stats so heavily that it's just, like, I can't put Eddie Guerrero above John Cena in an overall kind of point of view. Like, you tell me, obviously.
I agree. I don't want to. I think Eddie Guerrero is a way better wrestler in every aspect of wrestling. But I will say this: until I watched that promo that was either Deuce or Brett posted, his promo against Brock Lesnar, I had no idea that he had that promo ability until I watched that. I will say that the interesting piece, almost like Heath Ledger mantra here, the fact that Eddie Guerrero passed away, he may have a bigger legacy impact than John Cena when everything is said and done, as far as household name and legacy understanding from the wrestling community. So I don't know. I can't decide. I really can't decide on this one.
Though, because I see what you're saying. That death always helps your legacy, but it's just like you know what I mean? I'm not saying like, I'm glad he's dead, but your death helps your legacy.
I'm not saying he's any worse if he was alive. I'm just saying that has boosted the impact of his death on the wrestling community was so significant that it was a testament to how he was when he was alive. I mean,
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's like if LeBron passed away today, God forbid it or whatever, all of a sudden you're gonna have some of those LeBron Jordan guys maybe sway towards LeBron because you'll look back and you go, oh man, like this is all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But it's just, if I say, hey, blah, 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 Eddie Guerrero in a group of wrestling fans, and I don't know anything about these wrestling fans, I just know the wrestling fans. Maybe I hit some people that don't even really know much about Eddie Guerrero. Maybe I hit some people
but that's not because a lot of wrestling fans today didn't get to witness him. But if you in his prime, if you ask that question, everyone knows Eddie Guerrero, and not only that, but your same reasoning that HBK, all the wrestling communities like HBK. You ask the same wrestling community, they're going Eddie Guerrero over John Cena. There's going to be very few and far between that are going to put John Cena on the Mount Rushmore over Eddie Guerrero?
Because of the wrestling ability. Because I know for a
Doesn't
fact.
matter. That's the same
No.
thing for HBK
No.
Jericho.
Okay, but my point is, if I say right now, Stone Cold Steve Austin or Eddie Guerrero.
Well, we're not
having a
talking about that.
Yeah,
though.
that's not.
No.
We haven't got to that far yet.
Hold on a second. If I say Stone Cold Steve Austin or if I say Eddie Guerrero, just like if I said The Rock or if I said Chris Jericho, it's like I don't care about the wrestling ability. I'm not breaking down the week by week ratings. I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin, Eddie Guerrero. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm going Eddie Guerrero.
He's okay because you want to put focus on pure wrestling, right?
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
not just
fine.
pure wrestling, but I loved his character. I mean,
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is what he was. Yes,
Fair,
I did.
but
Did a lot
that's
for
for
the-
King. That's only for King Doozy. That's not. I'm talking about the national eye. Am I gonna say, oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin? Of course, like Stone Cold Steve Austin or Eddie Guerrero. Are you kidding me?
Felipe's going to pick Stone
Not
Cold.
right. That's not right. Eddie Guerrero deserves his props. But if I say John Cena or Eddie Guerrero, the overall wrestling community is going, John Cena. John Cena's the man. He was the man. Yes, Eddie Guerrero's a better wrestler. Eddie Guerrero clearly is a better wrestler. It's not even close. But John Cena's his power and his heights outweigh Eddie Guerrero's heights. They just do.
But
And I hate
listen,
it. I love Eddie Guerrero. But it's true.
Listen, okay, just give me a second here. Last week on the show, we had somebody subbing for you, Corey. I don't know if you watched it or not. The man knows his stuff. Okay?
I did.
Even now, even with all the points that you're making, it doesn't matter. He would even say you're wrong because Eddie Guerrero vastly superior to John Cena.
I also
He may
said
not have
Jericho
been-
over HBK.
Okay, never mind. He lost his credibility.
Okay, see, so he just deserves an attitude adjustment then. So what you gotta realize is,
So he deserves a switch in music. It's much faster and it's easily going to knock the person out.
okay, so point being is,
Jericho
it's
submits
not
people
about,
too.
there's no way to say, no one has the same rating system in basing wrestlers. A true fan like you, Doozy, or Jake is going to say, or even me, I'm going to say, oh, Eddie Guerrero, John Cena. Well, I think Eddie Guerrero is underrated because he's an amazing wrestler. He was always good on the mic, even though he wasn't delivering these like awe-inspiring promos every week. But he was great. I loved him. He was so cool. Like I always liked him. But I never pegged him as a number one in the industry.
Right.
And granted, that's not it's not his thing. He's great. You could have pushed him as a number one. He would have worked just fine. But
All right, real quick here. We need to take a step back and just take a breath because when you're talking about overrated and underrated, a gentleman earlier this day had told me The Undertaker was overrated and that none of his stuff even mattered. 30 years in the fucking business, none of his shit mattered. Really, guy? I don't know who this asshole was, but he went on and just like all of a sudden blew my mind. Like, how in the world can you say The Undertaker is overrated? First of all, the streak. That should be your number one thing right there. That should be it. Like, okay, the streak. I get it. Undertaker, you're right. Rated right where he should be. Then you look at all the other stuff. You wouldn't have had Mankind thrown off of a cage if it wasn't for The Undertaker. All right? You wouldn't have had the introduction of Kane. Shut up.
Nothing to do with Undertaker. It could have been.
It wasn't for the.
It could have been freaking.
Okay?
What's his
You
face?
wouldn't
The
have buried alive
giant.
matches. You wouldn't have had casket matches. You wouldn't have had fire matches. You wouldn't have had Hell in the Cell. That's HBK nod right there. But you wouldn't have had all these great matches and all this incredible ability, promos, in ring. The dude flies over the top rope and as big as that guy was. And you're telling me the underrated.
Dude, when Undertaker first came out, and each week he was teasing moves, every time, like first week he's just choke slamming you. Next week he's doing the flying flip with the armbar. I'm kind of forgetting the name. Then he's doing the walking the ropes, and I'm like, fuck, this guy diving out the ring, like doing things nobody was doing at that time, including small people outside of Mysterio and those guys in WCW. Even the Hardys weren't around doing that yet. It was just like, awe-inspiring. No one here, I'm hoping, Jake, doesn't think that The Undertaker is overrated. Like, no one can think that he's overrated. He's amazing.
Impossible.
Impossible. Now, you can not like the character, or you can be bored with it, or you can whatever, but there's no one can think that he's overrated. Jake, walk out if that's what you're about to do. But
I do.
we have okay, hold on. We have a segment on this little section here, so we can transition to it, so instead we're not just randomly going into the Undertaker thing, where one of the topics was Taker one more match thoughts, right? Because he did say he's retired, and then they post all this stuff, but he also said if Vince came a calling because he needed something, he'd be listening. I'm
going to be very quick because we're short on time here, and I'm just going to say, unless it's cinematic, I'm not going to or unless it's with Sting, I don't want any more matches with Undertaker.
Okay. I would say that I don't agree with that fully. I would like to see the cinematic thing. I think he's already kind of topped it. So I think if it's going to end, it just ends now because you're not going to get much of a better cinematic match from him.
He should fight someone in hell.
He can fight someone in hell. And, I don't know who that will be, but it won't be Jericho because he's not a big enough star. So why don't we just wait?
Defeat him.
So I think if you're going to have one more Undertaker match, it needs to be at Mania, obviously. And
have it be with Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon, I
Shane wants a Hell in a Cell match with him. Shane wants one more Hell in a Cell match with him. I would watch that.
I would rather Orton just beat him and do the Legend Killer thing right into Undertaker.
All right, I'd see that.
I think Undertaker should stay retired. He's done it all. He is an incredible athlete. He's beaten everybody he needs to beat. He's proven everything to anybody in the entire world. He doesn't need to beat anybody else. He doesn't need another match. He went out the way he should have went out. Right? Just like a cowboy, dude. Just getting on his horse, beat the guy, buried him, peace out. I've done 30 years. I put in my time. I've showed everybody that I can do anything.
I agree.
He doesn't need another match. Even if it is with Shane, and that's bullshit anyway. Fuck Shane McMahon. Okay? Shane McMahon doesn't need a
Let's save Shane McMahon for another time. Let's run through the rest of these here. All right. Real quick, we don't need to debate about this. Just shout out your best current theme songs. So Deuce.
What's that? Best current theme song?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. AJ Styles. Phenomenal one.
I will still go Edge. That song gets me every time.
It's really good. I was gonna go Edge, but you said it, so I'll
switch to Glorious Bobby.
I might want to go Chris Jericho.
You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
No,
that's not even an actual theme song.
I'm not going Chris Jericho. All right, relax.
Pissed me off.
Matt Hardy? No, I'm kidding.
Original.
Trying to go outside of WWE here, all the WWE stuff. Bray Wyatt. It's great. I love it.
Wait, Bray Wyatt? I don't like the current theme. I like the Lantern Bray Wyatt theme. It had more boom, 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 boom.
With the
Yeah,
fireflies,
that theme's great. Oh, okay, yeah, that fine, whatever. But that doesn't count. Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right, moving on. Should we skip this one? Just go to Pusher Barry?
Nah, let's just do it really quick. It's an easy one.
Which one member of a current tag team do you want to have a singles push?
Jake, you go first.
Either Montez Ford or Big E. I would like to see either of those two get a singles push. Big E, because I don't know they just need to unlock maybe a character for him, but his promo ability is phenomenal. He's hilarious. He's actually incredible in the ring. He's a really good performer. In fact, Daniel Bryan called out that Big E is like one of the best performers he's ever worked with. And then I think just Montez, he's got the smoke. He's got that it factor of just captivating an audience. And I think if they were able to channel that in the way they did The Rock, he could be a big star. I think unfortunately for him right now, he's riding the wave on a tag team. But if they made him an independent star, I think he could go pretty far.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Big E as well. I love Big E. I think when he came with Ziggler, and he was just a muscle, but then he had that one moment where he was doing like some weird weather report in the back, and I was like, whoa, this guy's like goofy. Yeah. I was like, he's like goofy and funny. Like, hey, like I like this guy. He's not just some wacky. Like he's actually pretty cool. I loved it. I think he's great with New Day too, and I don't want to break up New Day. I hope there's a nice, fun way to do that without doing the obvious Shield type turn. But
just gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't think that should be the way they go. I'd like the brotherhood to stick together. But yeah, he's the guy. He's great in ring. He's great. Why? Obviously, in ring he's kind of boring, but he just seems kind of forced in terms of his fun. Like The Rock was like a natural charisma and like coolness, and like I want to hear what this guy's gonna say. Montez Ford kind of just says all this kind of stuff. Like I'm like, like he's great, and he's great on the mic, and he's smooth, and he's fast, and he's funny. But it just
he's incredible in the ring, though. Do you watch him in the ring at all?
Yeah, but I do, and he moves well in the ring. But he doesn't have a defined moveset. And yes,
okay, that's fair. But he like almost hits the ceiling when he jumps off the top. It's like insane how high he gets.
Yeah, he's great. He even his hot tags in, he's flying around like crazy. But he's just since he doesn't have a defined moveset, I'm kind of
He's a little too skinny too. Maybe a little too skinny for a big push.
Yeah, but that's okay. I don't care about that so much.
Ducey, who you got? Who do you want to see in a singles push that's a tag team?
Well, I'm going to give you two because I don't have to explain it too much because you guys already can know what's going to happen. Number one, Kenny Omega. Number two, John Morrison. I think you guys can look at what they're
John
doing
Morrison.
as a tag team.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you guys thinking? How are you not thinking John Morrison number one? And Kenny Omega, he needs to step into the spotlight, do his own damn thing, stop being in a tag, because he could be TNT champion. He could be AEW champion. But they're wasting it. They're wasting their time with this bullshit stuff that they're running. That's why AEW sucks.
They're allowing the faces that have a bigger audience to run for right now. That's the unfortunate part for Omega. Is if Mox wasn't there, I bet you Omega would be in that limelight already.
I really like Omega. That was a good pick. I think Morrison's cool too. But for me, I'm not a big high flyer guy, and even though he's not all that,
you are the worst.
He's still kind of F for me. Like I'm not like.
You out of your mind. You know how much John Morrison in Impact. I swear it.
Or Lucha Underground. You really want to see John Morrison in his best? Go watch Lucha Underground.
Go watch Lucha Underground. Seriously, John Morrison. He was great when he first was in WWE.
He's an amazing wrestler. But even if you told me that John Morrison and The Miz were splitting up, I'd be more interested to see what The Miz is going to do, because it's just the character dynamic as if Miz goes heel and it's like, oh, this is going to be great. Like I'd be more in tune with a week-to-week Miz heel run than a John Morrison heel run or a John Morrison face run. So like Omega for me was more enticing because I always thought he should have been a singles guy. But I don't know. I guess, AEW hasn't hit that mark with him yet. But either way, I'm not hating on John Morrison. He's just a little too silly for me sometimes. He's a little too mid-tier. I don't know.
I think you might hit Ducey's list for a record-setting third time.
I hope so.
We're moving to Pusher Barry here. We're going to try to whip through these. Some of them maybe we should spend a little bit of time on, but others maybe not. Dolph Ziggler, the old reliable, is getting a title shot. Is he title worthy, Ducey?
Fuck no. You kidding me? Get the back of the line. Next.
I disagree. I love Dolph Ziggler. I think quickly putting together that storyline that ties together McIntyre and Ziggler is a nice piece. He's obviously going to go over Ziggler anyway, but I think Dolph Ziggler's a great opponent just to kind of showcase a guy that should be individual either way and stop being in all these stupid little groups that he's been in. Dolph Ziggler's underrated, and I think it's a good chance to show that.
Jake?
Push.
I push it because I'm a big Dolph Ziggler fan, but I don't like where he's at right now, and I don't think he's deserving of it in his current state. But I normally would say, yes, put him in the title picture, give him the damn title, and let him run with it for more than a week. Like the biggest thing we've seen from him was when he won by surprise and faced AJ Styles, and there was that kind of hope/curiosity if he'd actually go over on AJ Styles and win the title. A couple of he didn't. So I'll push it because I love Dolph Ziggler, but it's a slight push. Not a push it real good.
Bobby Lashley was doing absolutely nothing, and he still got that chance. So it's a good, quick recovery of the character.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fitting storyline. I don't know if it really makes sense, but it's a fitting storyline given McIntyre and Ziggler's history.
I'll quickly push.
Dumb. Sasha Banks possibly having 2 titles. Push or bury, Seal Kid?
I'm going to bury it just because of the obviousness. I think when the Shield, you get 2 members of the Shield with the titles, and it's so clear the third one's going to win the title. It just becomes like, why do it then? I don't need you to do that to force it and really put a stranglehold. Now, I'm always looking ahead. So for my thing is, if she does win the title, what do you do now? Like, how does the dissension between Sasha and Bayley go? Like, oh, I can outdo you. I'm a champ just like you kind of thing. And then what, you're going to defend all the titles against each other kind of thing? I would rather the rest of the division have a title out there because they need it. Like, realistically, they just need some kind of something going on. Because unless I'm going to get Charlotte Flair in my face through surgery all the time, like, there's really nothing else going on outside of those 2 women. So I need them to be separated by something, and then get Nia Jax out of there, and you just have, at least you have a title out there to kind of keep interest elsewhere. Unless you're liking the Natalia Lana storyline.
Oh, garbage. I'm going to go really quickly here. Pushing Sasha Banks. I think it's interesting to have a tag team have both titles and the tag team championship. I don't know if that's ever happened before. So what cooler way to do so with the ladies right now? And I could definitely see WWE giving Sasha a title, given what's going on right now. So, I could see that happening, but I like it. I think it's cool. I think Sasha's deserving. I thought she was a really good champion. The 5,000 or 6,000 times her and Charlotte Flair split the belt every other week. I like that. So I'm going to push it. Ducey.
I believe Sammy Guevara would probably say bury it. And I'm going to agree with him simply because this 2 belt stuff with the women, there was one lady not too long ago who had it. I forgot her name. She was great. She did what she needed to do, but stop doing it. Stop doing it.
All right, 2 berries for Sasha. Randy, this one gets me livid here. Randy making Big Show interesting. Bury it. Big Show was on my list last week. They're just feeding Randy people till Edge can return at this point. It's what they're doing. So I'm gonna bury it. I don't care about Big Show. Randy has nothing to prove against him. It makes no sense for those 2 to square off. They're not old friends. That's never been a thing. I don't know why that's going on. Deuce.
I'm gonna go push it. You know what? Give Big Show some sort of redemption for what the stupid stuff that he's done in the past. Put him in some. Give me a storyline with Randy Orton. Make it interesting. Put him on some sort of. Have a match where it's like the Big Show, and then it's like, hey, welcome to TV. Fuck. I'm kidding you guys. Fucking bury this shit.
Now I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna go push, not for all those corny ass reasons you just gave me, but I will say that it does add another person for Randy Orton to go over on, and it's another person that's has history that you can say it's a legend killer theme. Because otherwise, what are you gonna do? Put him against like some super old guy that's coming back from way back in the day that can't even move.
Have him go over on Braun stupid Strowman. That's what they could do.
But Braun Strowman's not a legend yet, so maybe Braun Strowman goes on Bray, and then it's like, oh, he becomes a legend, and now he goes for him. I think it helps build the Randy Orton character a little more because
it'd help a lot more maybe if Lex Luger came in and Randy went over to him. Would that be better for you?
Have you seen Lex Luger lately?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I do.
That would be more interesting to me than Big Show.
That'd be funny. They just got all the old legends to come back and just starts punting their faces off every week. Oh, that'd be good. Bray Wyatt's old character returning for the continued Braun storyline. CL Kid.
I love it. I think this is another dynamic that's really cool. Bray Wyatt's making segments so cool that I'm okay with Strowman. Like Strowman even got added intro music with the train and all that crap just because of this, because he's getting so much attention now for the title, obviously, but because Bray Wyatt's so amazing. I think Bray Wyatt's still the best thing in wrestling. Randy Orton second, Seth Rollins third. But
fuck's wrong with you?
The stuff that Bray Wyatt's doing, I love the old character bring back. I think that's really cool because even if he loses, it's not going to hurt his credibility because he lost as that character, not as to be. I think it's fresh and it's entertaining. Push, doozy.
Listen, it's real simple. Okay, we need somebody to play mind games. The only person able to do that very well is Bray Wyatt. And I think this is great. It's good stuff. Good shit. Okay? That's what we're dealing with here. Run with it. Push, push, push.
It's good shit. I'll push it. I don't know.
It's not even close. It should be.
Yeah, it's not even close, man.
I love the, but I will say, TL Kid, you made the right point. I think it adds another dimension to this character that makes it fresh. So that's the reason why I'm pushing it. I love the Fiend and I want to see him back and I want to see him go over on Braun Strowman. So that's what it's personal wish because I cannot stand Braun Strowman. I hate him so much. Hager versus Cody Rhodes. I'll go first here. I'm going to bury this. I don't think Jake Hager should be on the same level of Cody Rhodes right now. They better have Jake Hager win because if he doesn't, that's not going to be a good look for him. And so I'm going to bury it, especially the way in which they're running it. Jake Hager's girlfriend showed up they had this like press conference thing. They tried to make it look like a UFC thing because Jake Hager does mixed martial arts. Not a fan. I think this is the issue you run into when you have a mid-card title on one of your top stars, is they face people that it's not believable that can beat them. And then if they don't beat them, it's not a good thing for the other person they're facing.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go make great points right there. It just doesn't work. Like Jake Hager, is supposed to be one of those top stars, along with Cody Rhodes, yet you're fighting for like a shit title. Plus, it looks like shit. Like I would
Really
rather
bad
carry
looking
around,
title.
yeah,
Yeah.
I said TNT than I would carry around that belt.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to vary as well. I agree. I think they should have just done his title match right when he came in with AEW rather than try to push him in Cody Rhodes. Now he's going to lose to Cody Rhodes, and you're going to have no credibility in him whatsoever at a mid-tier title, like you're saying. I don't like it. I don't like the timing of it, and I like Hager, but I don't think it's worth for him and killing his character.
Awesome. All right, burying that. I'll go first again. Up until 2 weeks ago, I was a bury on this, but now I'm a push and pushing it really good. Orange Cassidy versus Y2J in AEW. This is an interesting matchup. The promos have been great. Jericho's been dynamite. The fight they got into on Wednesday, I don't know if you guys have watched yet. Holy shit. Cassidy almost got his ear ripped off. It was a brutal fight that went into the audience. It made me believe that Orange Cassidy has a chance. And I was just, they broke the fourth wall in the promos. Cassidy is just on fire, and they're riding that wave right now to have him face basically the face of the company in Jericho. And I thought it was, I know you guys hate the Negan stuff, but I'm pushing it. I think it's a really good matchup. I think it's a good person for him to go up against without getting a title shot. The unfortunate part is he'll probably lose. So,
yeah, I'm with you. I love it, and I liked it from day one. Like the second I saw that these two were going to get, I was like, fresh matchup, amazing, right what it should be. Taking risk, going with the hot guy instead of waiting and until it fizzles or whatever. And yes, you may lose to Jericho and whatever, right? But even still, I don't think that's even a big negative. I don't think he drops from that at that point. Like I love the combination of these two. I think the promos, like you said, have been good. I haven't watched Wednesday yesterday, but going back from a week ago and further back, I like the matchup. I like the styles, how they match up. They're so different, but it still works so well. And I love it. I love this since day one, and I think it's an amazing thing. Push. Deuce.
First of all, there's a guy in AEW named Y2J, because that's what Jake said. Jake said that there's a Y2J versus Orange Cassidy. Who's Y2J? Yeah, I'm fucking with you. All right, because
you know
can't
who
say
that is. He's greater sign HBK.
No, he's a wannabe. That's what he
Beer
is.
belly.
Anyway, no, I'm pushing this. I'm pushing it. And here's why. Orange Cassidy's going over on Jericho because everybody's seeing how talented Orange Cassidy really is. For all the years that we've seen Orange Cassidy out there, indie scene, everything, now he's finally getting this time, and he's going to go over on Jericho, and it's going to be awesome. And everybody's going to be like, holy shit, we should have been watching him from day one. Like, you're damn right you should have been. Gimmick is great. It's working wonders for him. He doesn't have to change anything because everybody still loves it. So there's my point.
He should go over too because Jericho can handle any loss.
No, well, plus
because
Jericho's old as shit, and so he should probably just die.
You know how many guys Jericho's put over and job to whatever. All right, let's go on to the list here. CL Kid, start us off. Who's on your list, brother?
My list of HBK is no more list of Jericho. Is definitely everyone outside of Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt in the WWE. I think these two people right now, not Edge is great, but Edge is kind of like, to me, he's like off the list because he's out. I don't know how long he'll be out, but like I'm not including him in this because his promo work has been excellent. But all the guys that are there currently, outside of these two, there is no one that's like really grabbing the stage. Like you have an opportunity with no fan response as a lesser to really prove to yourself, like, hey, I'm amazing. Like you see, during this whole COVID thing, NASCAR was doing the iRacing, right? And it's like, oh, they're just racing from home, but it's a video game, and it's whatever you want to think about it. But it's an opportunity for some of the younger drivers to show that, hey, if I had the same car as you, or if I had the same money on my team, I could be winning races just like you do because my driving ability is just as good as yours, right? In simulation mode. This is an opportunity for people who don't get normal crowd response just from their theme song or just from promo work to really stand out and say, hey, look, now that all things are played even, I'm just as big as you, or I'm just as amazing as you. And nobody's popping out. Like everyone just feels lazy right now. Everyone feels on pause. And I think the only people that don't are Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt.
Because they all got COVID, dude.
They all got COVID. I guess so. But, the thing is, it's just those are the only two. Rollins is really the only other one that I can say is really grabbing his character. And I guess I could have
Grab
included
this.
Doozy. What's your list?
Freaking Rollins.
Oh, no. I'm going last.
Okay,
Oh.
he's going last. Okay.
Good.
So I'll go next then.
That's kind of how that works.
So we're doing the greatest wrestler of all time bracket right now. By the way, HBK and Y2J are neck and neck at 20 votes apiece. So please go vote so one of them can take it to the next round.
I got other profiles.
In this bracket, there is a 2 seed by the name of Bret the Hitman Hart, who I believe is not the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. I think he's the most overrated there ever was, the most overrated there is, and the most overrated there ever will be. This guy, for some reason, is superior. He's a good in-ring performer. He had the Iron Man match in HBK. They had the Montreal Screwjob, which if it wasn't for HBK and Vince McMahon, sorry, Bret Hart, you're not really that important. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But because those guys were involved, that's why it's a big thing. Not really that decorated from a title perspective. His promo ability is not that great. He's got a fun character that puts sunglasses on kids when he goes into the audience. I think he's overrated. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why everyone's so obsessed with him. I don't understand it.
Bret Hart won me over for wrestling in the first place. He was my first favorite wrestler of all time before I switched over to Razor Ramon and really got the heel thing going. But he's not overrated. Like, it would be like, like I said, I don't want to keep on the best books. I don't like to compare things. But you go Jordan LeBron, right? No one ever says Magic Johnson or Larry Bird or Jordan LeBron. Because they're just a little before that. But they set the stage for Jordan. They set the stage for all of the amazing 90s basketball. And that's exactly what Bret Hart did. He doesn't get that vibe of, like, rated really high because he wasn't in the Attitude Era, really. He was the guy who, like, transitioned that boring golden era to the Attitude Era. So, like, you don't give him the attention he deserves. Doozy's over there sleeping on this argument.
Doozy
he knows I'm right.
Suicide given. Dumb.
That's all I ever said.
Dumb. Oh, he's back to life. Well, guess what? This is the list segment. We don't debate it. That's who's on my list. Overrated. All right, Doozy, your turn. Who's on your list?
That's right. We don't debate it here because in our minds, we are the ones who are right. So, with that being said, my list was going to be everybody in this wrestling group because they have no knowledge of wrestling whatsoever, and I think that to be true. But instead, I'm going to go with the COVID testing. Knock it the fuck off. Everybody's got it. Trust me, if we all got tested, we'd all show it across the board. Stop it. You're making everybody fucking panic. People's got jobs. These wrestlers were the only thing that we had for the longest time. Now it's getting taken away from us. Okay, you're smart. Dr. Fossey, you are a genius there in Washington, man. I'm telling you what. Get everybody tested. Yes, let's make the world safer. Fuck you, motherfucker. Listen, all you're doing is spreading this bullshit. You got wrestlers sitting on their couch doing nothing but tweeting and fucking Instagram. Look at my TikTok. I don't give a shit. You're not supposed to be in the ring entertaining me. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But no, you're too scared because you think you're going to get coronavirus. Well, guess what? Millions of people die every year from fucking viruses. It doesn't fucking matter. If you die from this, too damn bad. God will sort you out when you get there. Fucking idiots.
We don't debate the list.
Coronavirus has made our list 5 times already somehow.
All from Doozy.
It's the Thanos that we've all been looking for. All right. So next we have on this day. Seal Kid, help us out here. What day specifically was John Cena's debut?
I don't know, but it was based on this day today in terms of
swear to God.
June 25th. I don't know what year. But the only other on this day things that were going on were King of the Rings all over the place. So we're going to go with John Cena, the man, for on this day. Because on this day, John Cena, he sees clearly. He comes down the ring and confronts Kurt Angle and does all that amazing things. And though that segment was cool, then he had a big gap of non-cool segments. It set the stardom of John Cena.
Ruthless aggression.
Yeah, I thought that segment was a little overrated. The match was amazing, but other than that, the moment wasn't so big, but look what it led us to have. John Cena, another segment.
Doing your fucking promos, man. Last week, it was Mark Henry's promo. This week, it's John Cena debut promo. Give me a fucking...
You're a moron for not liking Mark Henry's promo. I'm sorry. The fact that you don't like that shows you have no logical insight on what a good promo is.
Yeah, we're gonna put you in the Wrestling Life ratings.
Go ahead, put me on pause.
Non-knowledge Wrestling Life group.
Mute me, motherfucker.
All right, we're gonna move on to know your
Thank
role.
God.
Last, but not least.
Last but not least segment. And my question for you two to debate on is, who is the best heel ever?
CL Kid, I'll pass to you first.
Okay, we're gonna be quick here. A minute each. I'm gonna go CM Punk heel role was the best heel I have ever seen or felt ever. Now, Triple H to me is actually the best heel because I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for staying in that role for years and years and years and years and really keeping as the main heel through the Attitude Era and beyond. But CM Punk's, like I said, peaks are higher than valleys, and his peaks of that run as a heel where people were, obviously everybody loved him, but he was still the heel role versus Cena. He was still the heel role versus Taker versus The Rock, whatever you want to put him against, Jericho, right? He was amazing. That CM Punk run for me, as short as it was in terms of that character, it was still the best heel work I've ever seen done. Sitting on the, first of all, laying out The Rock, doing the whole promo on Cena, sitting on the table the next night in front of Jerry Lawler and questioning his ability to say, like, oh, CM Punk turned his back on the fans. CM Punk just coming every week. He had Paul Heyman, one of the best mic guys of all time, as his mic guy, and was still talking all the time. Like, it was still amazing. Like, CM Punk, nothing was better, even when he was doing the respect thing. There was no better high for me on heels than that, period.
Well, let's see. I don't disagree with you. But since I have to, Bret Hart, the Canadian guy waving a flag in an American city every single night, going against Shawn Michaels, who's supposed to be the American guy that we all love to be, but coming out waving that flag, telling each city they suck because they're American and they're not Canadian, having all of his, buddies, all the Hart Foundation, come out in a wheelchair, bullshit, stand the fuck up. We know you're lying, but it was great. It was awesome. And then when he finally stood up, he gets sweet chin music right in the face. We all hated him. We hate him because he's not American. That's what we do. As wrestling fans here in America, you try to give that other flag bullshit. Look at what we did to the Iron Sheik. Hated that motherfucker waving somebody else's flag in our rings. Come on, give me a break. So when it comes to heels, that's the biggest, because that's going against our patriotism and who we are as Americans and trying to tell us that Canadians are better. Why? Because you guys can speak fucking French? Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, well, Kevin Owens did that too, did he not?
I don't want to hear about it. We're talking about, hey, you can't debate my debate. I didn't debate yours. I agreed with it because it was right.
I know. It was a chance for me to give you some
but
Kevin
on
Owens.
My end, at the same time, you're wrong because it went against our patriotism. CM Punk went with us. He was just a heel for the company. He wasn't a heel for the fans.
Yeah.
I don't watch wrestling for patriotism. I don't care a damn about.
I'm giving you both points. I'm giving you both points here. Yeah,
that's bullshit. That's a cop out as a host, man.
I think you guys.
You gotta know. You gotta do one.
You just told me that Bret Hart was the most overrated wrestler of all time.
See,
and now
I do believe he was, but I think Ducey's argument about why he was a great heel is a fantastic argument. Because
do you think Bret Hart? If I say Bret Hart, do you think babyface or heel first?
He was always a heel. He was never a babyface.
Yeah, never a babyface. Yes, he was.
How are you getting that he was a babyface?
He was. Yeah, I think Ducey's right. I think he was a heel for the majority of his career. No,
he had a great baby.
Always a heel. The Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. Heel. Okay? Always a heel. That's Bret Hart's motto right there.
Bret Hart's not always a heel. But secondly,
we need a point. We deserve that point. We fought long and hard. We debated. We earn it.
But for now on, future results, no more ties. Okay, this isn't NBA foul on both persons.
You both need a point. You both have 0 because you both lost in the past. So I'm giving you both a point.
No, dude, I'm not leaving this podcast until somebody's awarded a point.
I awarded both of you points.
No, we need a soul.
NBA official Jake the Drake Coffee Cake with his double technical. No, I want to hear.
All right. Okay. All right. Well then, real quick. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give it to Ducey because CL Kid.
Your face, CL Kid.
You started your debate by saying, "I don't understand this." You said Triple H is the best heel of all time, and I'm gonna go CM Punk.
No. I said see, Triple H is his longevity as a heel was underrated, and in that way, he is the greatest heel of all time. But one run moment, just again, like I said, I don't give a damn how many championships Bill Russell won. Jordan's the man, period.
I asked you for the best heel of all time, and you didn't say the person that you believe is the best heel of all time. You said a person that had the best heel run of all time.
Okay, yeah, the best heel run for me outweighs the longevity of a good heel. It just does. If Jordan wins 6 championships in a row of 6,
I got the point.
Best run of things. He lost a lot before that. Hold on, he lost a lot before that, right? But we don't worry about the losses. We worry about the peaks, and Jordan's peak is what put him at the top. We don't say, "Oh, Jordan Wizards." Oh, Jordan before he won against the Pistons. It's Jordan. It's still Jordan because his peak is better
Calvin
than anything
Johnson,
else.
you dropped the ball. You didn't get the touchdown.
No. CM Punk heel run. If I had to watch one heel run ever, one moment of somebody being the best heel, it was the CM Punk thing. Period.
It's The Rock.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm saying I won the thing. You can't debate
no, that's
anymore.
okay. I was just debating because Jake was trying to say that I said Triple H was the best. I said Triple H's heel overall was the best in longevity, and he did more for the company in
You
terms
didn't specify that in your original argument. You said he was the best. You said he's the best heel of all time and is really underrated. Yeah.
I said in terms of his longevity, he's the best heel of all time. He's underrated for what he's done for that. But just like Jericho has done
I'm replaying your argument again.
No. Just like Jericho has done so much for wrestling internationally and all these other things, he was still never at his peak what HBK was. And that peak is what makes HBK the best. Just like that peak is what makes CM Punk the best heel. Period.
You lost.
I don't care. It's judged by Drake. That's like saying, who's the better ball player, me or Doozy? And Jake gets to pick Doozy. I'm still the better ball player.
Dude, I could ball you out your shorts.
Listen, your counter argument was really good until you mentioned that Jordan, he had at least 6 incredible years. You can't say that it was one run. He had,
but he had
8 to 10 incredible years at least. That's a very long.
But he had a ton of losing before that, and always get the argument.
What?
Okay. No. I'm a Jordan guy. But my point is, the counter argument to Jordan is always, we don't talk about when he lost to the Pistons or when he couldn't beat we always hear that. That's if you're a Jordan fan, that's always the counter argument.
No, I just think he was a scumbag human being.
Triple H was a constant 8 or 9. CM Punk, that run was a 10 and was long enough for me to say that was the best heel run. Hence, therefore, you are the best heel. Just like Kawhi not much, but Kawhi right now is the best player because he was able to do much recently.
Get the fuck out of it. Listen, before we get off here, I got to ask you one question, okay? Just one question. I got to see if you know exactly what's going to happen. If women are at a bar, what drink are they getting?
Water. I don't trust your ass.
No, I'm asking you.
What is it?
What drink do you think that it is?
That women are getting at a bar?
Yes.
I don't know. Tell me.
Jake?
I don't something like sweet, something like
Sex on the beach.
Yeah.
It's a cranberry vodka. And you know why? Because it gets them drunk and it tastes fucking fantastic. So you stick with what works. And what works against Americans in wrestling is somebody waving somebody else's flag. That's why you lost, because you went with CM Punk, who is a fan favorite against everybody. He's only a heel in the company.
He took a real run at being.
Don't make me take the point away now. Let's end on a good note here.
All right, I had to go there because
Doozy, you keep your point so long as you don't bring up getting women drunk. All right,
Rusev
let's.
Is a better heel. Rusev is a better heel.
Bill Cosby on you guys.
All right, this has been Pod Jobbers. See you later, Marks. Thanks a lot, boys. Very entertaining as always.
Oh.